Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tom's Fury, and I am joined today by my illustrious friend, the guy that's been teaching me some moral lessons like a friend in need is a pain in the ass. A man who's angry most of the time these days, my friend, Danny the Man Roscoe.
How you doing? Sorry, I've got a bit close to the mic here and I'm not wearing my mask and that. So if anyone wants me to put it on and that, I'll put it on because I'm not sure how COVID comes across these days. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure if it goes over the airways, if he's in a gym or if he's in Asda. I'm cool, but you know, at a bus stop, I'm not cool. So if anyone wants me to wear it, I'll wear it.
I tell you, you say that as a joke, right? There, Peter Hitchens said that for Remembrance Day, he goes to a local church, and they decided that they couldn't have it in his local church because of COVID. So he then goes to. They then say, "We'll hold it outside in the graveyard," and then they get told, well, "You can hold it outside in the graveyard, but you're not allowed to sing." Because apparently singing would be more dangerous. That's honest truth. And then it was stopped altogether.
Absolute crazy.
Yeah. So
this whole thing's batshit crazy, man.
So I know you want. There's some things you want to mention, which I'll get started with this. Underneath this video here is in the description. There's a link. It's a link to a video that I didn't get the chance. I still have no studios, guys. So I haven't had a chance to clip it, cut it, nothing. But there's a link to a video, and at about 5 minutes 35 into that video, you will see an old man getting a dressing down from this copper. Not a loud one, but he's getting a dressing down from this copper. I'm not sure exactly what had happened, but you then see the copper go into COVID mode. And he says to the guy something along the lines of, don't you think you should be wearing your mask? And it starts like that. Then he goes on to chastise him and tell him to wear his mask. I had to turn it off at that point. I actually don't know what transpired after that. You'll know more than me before this podcast, probably. So you had three things happen. You had biggest corner taped off for what I heard from a copper set at least the next couple of weeks. You had people arrested. And you had the COVID police literally doing this to people. So where are we at, Danny, with this policing thing, man?
I have no idea where we're at the moment. I have no idea. But no, there's a couple of good things I need to say. Right, I'm against COVID vaccine, right? And all week I've been called an anti-vaxxer, which I don't strictly believe that I am. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just the COVID situation is dead wrong. So I don't like the way that people are trying to tell me to wear my mask, and if I can't wear my mask on social media, as soon as I put something out there that's against COVID, I'm classed as an anti-vaxxer. I'm an anti-masker. I'm all this. It's absolutely
COVID denier.
COVID denier. And
it's words.
But it's getting a divide. It's making people divide, and I can't understand it. But I've got to respect all the businesses that have stayed open. I've seen a lot of videos, and I want to go around a few of the people probably early part of next year just to see how it's gone and what's going on. But they've stayed open and they've got these fines. This guy in Wood Green, he's not zero zone workout or something up at Wood Green near me. He stayed open. I think he got £40,000 fine so far, and he has finally closed it up. But they even did a social distance outside gym workout, and he still got a £3,000 fine for that one.
See, this is. Sorry, go on.
No. So I've just got. There's a lot of people out there getting it hard, and there's a lot of people out there that's doing what they've got to do and assembling on the street and just not taking the shit off of them, off of the government. If they want to stay open, they're going to stay open. If they want to save their business, they're going to save their business. And at the same time, if people want to go there, knowing that it should be in lockdown, it's their right as well because it's my body. Do you know what I mean? It's no one else's body. If I want to jump off a bridge, I can do that. Nobody's going to stop me. But yet they're stopping me going for a gym. They're stopping me going to cinema. They're stopping me going to a cafe. If I want to, it should be in my control. But the police are getting these extra powers. It's up and down the country to get extra powers. And if you're not wearing a mask outside, which you're not supposed to anyway, but they'll get you. If you're at a train station, they'll get you. And they feel that they've got this kind of power now because the government said, well, you can issue these fines, you can do this, that, and the other. But I'm sitting down. I said it a long time to the Crest of the Dick, and I say it to the Metropolitan Police directly to you there are going to be times when Black Lives Matter are running you through the streets, and I hope that I'm there because I'm not going to help you. I'm not gonna do what the right do, and the right come and protect the police because we believe in order and order. We're not going to do that no more. Guarantee you're on your own. So it's your grade. You know what I mean? You've set that tone now. Nobody's going to help you. So the policing system in the UK is basically gone because the people won't help them and the people won't assist or anything, you know. And it's a corporation. They've just ruined it.
I mean, the police have always been, I don't know, in my lifetime, somewhat at odds with the public, but that's to be expected to a lot of degrees. But I've always said if you put a badge on people indiscriminately, you're going to bring out the worst of human behaviour. Whether it's a dinner monitor to a dinner lady to whoever, whatever power they have, they will wield it usually, unless you're a very special type of person. And with the police, when you give people powers, government, when you give them powers, they will use it. And so when at the moment COVID and things like that are being used as an excuse to just rush through laws without too much opposition and thought, when you do this, you're signing away freedoms and you're signing away chances where everyone says, oh yeah, but it could never get to that. Well, we know from past history can get to anything. So you should always be putting checks and things in place. And if any freedom has to really truly be stepped on, there should be something that says there's a boomerang effect to that change. We don't have that. That's not there. These things we're giving away. There's no thing to say, oh, when this is gone, you can have everything back. And traditionally, you don't get everything back.
Yeah, exactly. And there's two examples I can do that to. The first one is I think it was about 97 to 98. Operation Trojan came about on black crime, but that was only supposed to be for 5 years. That's still in operation now. Okay, so we're talking over 20 years. That's been in operation. And the second one is the Terrorism Act of 2000, and that was revised because of the bombings and that, and they needed extra powers. But again, we give that power over to say that if we need to be searched due to terrorism, we can do that. If we have to give our phones, our laptops, our whatever due to terrorism, we'll do that. That's never been given back to us, even though there's not been a true terrorist attack on our soil using that type of methods. So once we give the powers away, and this is what it is, once the police have tasted that side of power, it's not going to go away. They're not going to give it back. People
are very willing to offer their freedom up on a plate.
Yeah, because
they're over.
Stupid. They're stupid. They're more stupid than people who believe in Black Lives Matter. I'm telling you that now. People who have said, "Well, I'm going to lock down. Yeah, I'm going to get furloughed." Why do you think they're paying you to stay in your house? It's to quieten you down. If they weren't paying you, would you stay in your house? No, you wouldn't. You'd be on the street saying X, Y, Z. What are people doing now? Because their business is going down. Up there, there's a 160-year-old butcher. He can't open his doors. He's never going to open again. And that's been in the town for 160 years. Do you know what I mean? That's a long time. That's a long. I don't know if it's been in the town, but it's been down the family line. It's got outside. It's 160, whatever. That's not going to open. There's millions of businesses who are now going to go into Christmas. They were making loads of profit last Christmas. This one is going to be even bigger. They've got not a penny. They can't even open. And don't tell me on the 2nd of December, they're going to open up and we're all going to buy it all, because Asda, Tesco, all the supermarkets are selling everything that the people can't get now. I'm telling you that now, there's loads of like hotel chocolate stuff in there. There's loads of branded goods that wasn't in there before. They're making profit after profit after profit. That's why the two Asian boys bought up Asda, because they knew what was happening. They knew they were going to make a profit in a year. The first year, enough profit.
Amazon probably make a killing right now.
Amazon is absolutely killing it. Do we know it's Black Friday soon? You know, it's Black Friday. Yeah. No one knows about. No, I didn't even know until I see it on my Amazon thing. But
yeah, I keep seeing it come up. Yeah.
It's the only way that we can buy something. You know, so he's making loads and loads of money, and then he's going to have a big sale, so people are going to spend even more. I'm not having it. I'm not having it from Boris, the socialist, and Richie Sunak, the socialist too. I'm not having it from them two no more. I don't care. So, I'm not having it.
So I said the other night, and I said to you just before we came on air, I said I feel like for the last couple of years I've almost been a what was the word? An apathetic apologist. I've been apologizing for the apathetic people. And I'm kind of at that point now where I've got to stop that. I said the other night, you know, where it's, you know, I remember being at the Hearts of Oak launch and I was talking about free speech.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, it was kind of widely agreed that a lot of people are in circumstances, their job and stuff like that matters. And so, you know, some people can't fight back, and it was agreed, right? And I carried that away with me and I thought about it. And we're sat in the position we're in now. Freedom's been eroded at speed. And as I said, you don't get them back. And it's like, do these people who are the same people who do moan about the world around them, and it's not like they don't moan, do these people want to start just taking a few chances, even if it be being a bit shocking in conversation and saying a name that shouldn't normally be said, or just not accepting going to a course that tells you how to speak about ethnic minorities. These kinds of things, just pushing back a bit against the grain. If that's all you can do, we control the dialogue. We can change words. The internet can change words. The internet create words. If the majorities were speaking, we could gain back at least half the narrative here. And I don't know that I can keep making excuses for the people that stay silent anymore. There's something you can do. Yeah, whether it's all the way up and down the ladder, there's something.
Yeah, it's always. To be honest with you, I'm disgusted with the men of England. To be fair, they're not coming out. They're not. Do you know what I mean? I'm ready. I'm probably gonna show it next week anyway. I'm ready to do what I've got to do for this country, because I class myself as my country's. You know, I'm a true patriot, and I don't. You know, look at Magna. Look at the Magna boys. Look at the Proud Boys over there. Look what they're doing. They're doing it for what they perceive as an injustice to the country. But in the UK, everyone's just at home. Just it's an acceptance, and I'm kind of disgusted with it all. You know, I kind of think, what's the point if a majority of people are willing to go down a socialist route, or willing to be, you know, under Marxism, or willing to be a communist? Yeah.
Do you know what I think, Danny? I think a lot of people are okay. So I'll give an example, even for me. So the idea of a raging Marxist feminist, okay, is one thing. The idea of it, of seeing and hearing and reading about it, yeah. But what's your chances, in my mind, right, of going out and bumping into a raging Marxist feminist? So I see someone actually make this point in the debate to Jordan Peterson. And it's kind of funny the way I discovered these videos. So see someone make this very point to him in a video. The next thing I see him, next video I go to is the one he does with GQ, which is with a raging feminist Marxist. And it's like, there they are. Like, I think people think, because these ideas seem so extreme, I think they think that there's no way that could get into the mainstream. They're not seeing that. Like, there's certain people who will go off when they watch a Star Wars movie now. Like, there are a lot of middle-aged guys who watch a Star Wars movie and go ape shit because they can see this big feminist message being sent through it. There's a lot of people that don't discriminate in that way. Do you know what I mean? They or they don't want to know, or it's they don't. I think there's a lot of people that don't really realize the danger of what's to come.
But it's not really. It's not even. I don't even. I think you're giving it too much credit on that. To be honest, all we got to look about it is right. Remembrance Sunday. These people died so we can do what we're doing now. Exactly what we're doing now. Okay, and we are happily giving away that fucking freedom. Happily doing it. Like these people don't care. And do you know how the government sealed that? They sealed that by throwing the veterans, barricading them up, throwing them on the floor, showing them no respect. And then on the actual day, they let the climate change people, Extinction Rebellion, to put their reef above the Queen's. Right? If that's not where we're going, and if people can't see that, then I'm afraid for the people who are willing to see all that happen and not stand up, then I'm afraid they better turn off the internet, turn off the TV, because they're not welcome. That's it. That's how I'm doing it now. I'm not going to be this Danny Roscoe. He does this and no. If you're not willing to stand up for your country, if you're not willing to stand up for your vets, if you're not willing to stand up for people who've died in the past, then don't enter the conversation. That's it.
And here's a point of a new talking about. So pulling down statues, erasing culture. We're all locked down. So here's an example of how things get rewritten and how things get changed if you don't step in. And that's, at the moment, there's nobody in a football stadium. So people come out, they take the knee, and the announcer says, yes, and they're coming out and taking the knee and showing respect, as though it's something that's always happened, as though it's normal. And it's not normal. It started this year over something that happened over the other side and is a political tool.
It's a new normal. Knows it. It's the new normal.
It's a new normal.
So
we're treating going into a football stadium, George Floyd, like Remembrance Day. And Remembrance Day, we're treating like perhaps George Floyd should be treated. In reality.
Yeah. Well, they're treating George Floyd better than any veteran who has laid their life in any of the wars.
Yeah. That's a good way. That's a good way of putting it.
George Floyd much better, and people are accepting it. Do you know what it is? It's not even about this. This is what's made me really angry. It's the acceptance. It's the acceptance. I'm standing up and I'm standing out, and I seem to be the only person that I can see that's actually doing it. Apart from the people who are losing their businesses, apart from when it really hits them, everyone else is getting paid some kind of money. Everyone else can either go to work or they can stay at home. Everyone's getting paid. Wait until the March comes around, right? When it all stops. If we then have to go into a lockdown, then I doubt the government's going to be paying it. And if I see people on the street because they've got no money to eat, they've got nothing because they've lost their jobs or whatnot, and there's no furlough. If I see people on the streets, it's going to be so hypocritical. It's unbelievable.
It's fair to say that if you're being paid to stay at home, and you think that this is wrong, what's going on? In a time when you can wear a mask and not be questioned, actually you don't have much reason not to go out on the street and protest. Where's the risk? It's minimal compared to normal, even for people in jobs they're worried about, or you know what I mean? It's the risk is less. If they get themselves in trouble, saying, well, don't get in trouble. These things are actually easier not to get in trouble than people think. But so there's as I said, even if it's just like I hear people, and I know how it happens, I know how it works, but so many people I know, and people have tried to do it to me. They've shouted them down for say the name Tommy Robinson at work. And before they even have a chance to give context or meaning to them mentioning the name, there are shrieks and howls and just emotional reactions all over the place. But I think that it's fair to say that that's bullying. If a person just stands up to that alone, it's a start, because all these things have a knock-on effect. And if we start to say no to things, I remember like VPNs, right? The people who've got VPNs for virtual private network. It keeps you safe and secret on the internet. People are frowning on it. A lot of websites won't allow them through them now. But the point about VPNs, you go back in time and back to when the pirate sites and that were around. We were talking back then a lot, and it's just like what you said about people not listening. We were trying to say to people back then, there were laws they were trying to pass, and they were trying to blame pirate sites, and these were to do with surveillance, all these kinds of things, and they were putting them under terrorism. And we were saying, if you do this, if you let people do this, you are going to have a 2-tier internet, which I now have confirmed that we've got, and you're going to have the ability to have your site taken down, and a search engine that at the time there was no censoring on any search engines. You're going to have your search engine censored. People would come on Facebook and say, I've got nothing to hide, why would I care? Stupid crap like this. And you're misunderstanding the point of your rights. It's
exactly.
So you don't, just because you don't use a right, it doesn't mean you want to give it away. You don't know when you'll need it.
Yeah, you never know when you're gonna need it. I just seen something up here from David Hardy. Am I racist? I don't know what difference that makes, but I've answered this question. But yeah, you don't know when you're ever going to need them back again, because it's like now lockdown. Okay, we've been in 2 lockdowns now, yeah. But this one's not really a lockdown, but it is what it is. Okay. In the whole 40 years I've been alive, I've never been in a lockdown. The only time I've been in lockdowns was when my mother, she locked me down properly. Do you know what I mean? I'm grounded and all that, right? So They've done it twice now within a year. Next year, they might think, oh, do you know what? Do you know what's going on? There is an election that's happening and people are protesting against the government. So what we're going to do is we're going to say COVID, lockdown. So nobody can go out canvassing, nobody can go out protesting. And then you're going to get to what was happening in America. But one more thing as well about just, I'm going a bit over the place, but
that's fine.
Remember when Black Lives Matter said that they're going to burn down the system? Remember that was their big thing, right? Marxism is going to burn down the system. Now, honestly, everyone that's watching this, who now wants to burn down the system, right? So their words are getting into our heads, because now I'm thinking to myself, well, you know what? We just burn down the system. And I'm like, what the hell? How have I just said that? How have I literally said that and meant it? Do you know what I mean? So they're putting in bits in your head from one way. The government's putting in the same bit of information, okay? Because it's now a socialist government. We can't say that it's not. So they're putting in the same information but locking you down to make you angry because you want to do that. And then you're going to see people like Black Lives Matter, and then you're probably going to see another group, an anti-lockdown group that's going to be really big. You see them going to the streets. You're going to go to the streets and join them, but you're not going to realise that you're under Marxism now, because it's all Marxism. You're not seeing what it is. You're just seeing what you want to see, and that's the danger of this confusion, these lockdowns, and these rights getting taken away. If we stand and say, no, we're not going to lock down. We're not going to lock down. If we're going to lose our jobs, we'll lose our jobs. If we're going to go to jail, we're going to go to jail. There's only so many jails that can hold people. So the first, 1,000 people might be unlucky, but, the rest of them can keep going on. If you keep doing it, they have to stop.
It's worth noting as well, yet the ages of the people involved, the average ages of people involved in doing what we're doing at the moment. Because I have always considered this will be a battle being fought for maybe hundreds of years, and who knows, maybe it will, but I've never looked at it as urgently as I look at it now, because through some of the conversations I have had off air and some of the other things that have happened in my life, I've realized that even I was taught, probably to some extent, by education systems, to hate my country. And I did start off by exactly doing that. I hated this country when I was a kid. And I realized that the naivety of some of the things I was taught as well. But you realize this has been going on a long time. But I was lucky enough to have the boomer generation to grow up with, and other things that would even that out. And we're going into a place now where the people replacing us aren't going to have had that. They aren't going to have had those final ties to wartime generations and so on. And that worries me. That worries me that steps things up a bit. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because getting used to this new normal would only take about 20 years to some.
Are you mad? It's not even 20. I can guarantee if we carry this on now, the ease that the people have took it, give it 5 years. Give it 5 years.
I'll give you that.
And
I'll give you that.
People will freak out when they're not wearing a mask. They'll freak out. There's no COVID. We have no COVID.
They already are.
They already are.
I'm seeing people freaking out.
You see the looks when they go past people, and it's embarrassing for them. And I feel to pull them up all the time. But at the moment, we're still in this thing, so I can't.
I go to my chemist, and people run away to avoid me. Although they did that before COVID, so I don't know if it's related. But seriously, they do. They actually run away because they're so scared you might be coming into the chemist with something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on.
It's just crazy, and they put their gloves on, but they're doing it all ineffective as well. If I was going to pull everyone up and say, well, that's not over your nose, right? Your gloves ain't on properly.
Right.
On your butt, and how's your chest at the moment? Because I can't, you know what I mean? I can't see how you can breathe easily. But that's all fine, because they're doing what the government wants, and in my eyes, as I said before, everyone who's laid their lives down to protect our freedom and our rights and our to live in this country as we live in now, no one's standing up. People don't care. People just care about one thing, and that's themselves, until it's gonna affect them, and when it affects them, it's too late.
I can tell. I spoke to Danny off air about this. I don't want to say too much about it now, because it's something for the future that I need to show and prove. Otherwise, it's going to come off wrong. But I said to Danny about, I wasn't even sure whether to talk about it or not. And it's the fact that where I live, I've made some notice on even on video that I've just caught by chance. I've noted to you during Zero News that the little village that I'm living in is changing, and everything changes, but a place like this changes very slowly. Nothing changes quickly in a place like this. And suddenly, within 2 years, I'm seeing these changes, and there's, for the size of the place, quite a strong Muslim presence here now. Now, I'm not going to put that in a bad or good light yet. I mean, that's something I'm going to leave out to the jury, and I'm going to show you as we go down the line. But the point of it being is that's something that Tommy said a long time ago to people. He warned them that people that were out in either the middle class estates or out in the country or wherever, sooner or later, this was going to come to you.
Yeah.
And this is what you were saying here as well. It's the same thing, isn't it? It's like you may think you're unaffected now, but once these people have got real power,
I was saying earlier, people were saying, how did we get to this? And I said earlier, now all the people are in power. It's happened 20 years through the education system. And I honestly, I believe this. And this is why I said it then. Why now? 20 years ago, you couldn't go and do a media degree, right? But yet now you can go and get a degree for anything you want. Why is that? They just want to extend their control over you. They want to, their grooming of you. They want to extend the infiltration of critical race theory, of the Marxist system, of all that. And then you're going to go off for 5 years, 10 years, and then you're going to be in the head of a company, or you're going to be quite high up because you're a graduate.
And it's come to this by having a government that wasn't really a government, that was a proxy to Europe, being traitors to all of you. Signing freedoms and stuff away over the years.
Of your behalf. And all of our behalves, we wasn't asked. And there's a great one. I don't know if everyone's seen it. I'm gonna find it. I'm not gonna talk about it. But it's a poem, right? But it said we was never asked, and that was I've just killed it off now, so start going. the punchline. But no, it's a beautiful man. Don't worry. It is. We was never asked. Now, nobody's really ever asked from a government or whatever, but they have a mandate and they're supposed to go to it. Boris Johnson's mandate was never this socialist thing that he's doing. Okay, granted, we've got coronavirus. Granted, we've got to sort it out somehow or whatnot. But Jesus Christ, man, they can't even get veterans off the street. They can't even give the disabled the money that they need. They can't even give houses to people in need. But they're happy to give all this furlough money away, all this bounce back loans, all this Sibbles and everything else. All this money's gone, trillions. So why couldn't they have got all the vets off the street, housed them on the government's thing, sorted out all the disabled payments, make sure they're proper. Even mothers, when they have a baby, why don't they have a universal basic income based on what they've been earning for the last 5 years or whatever? So they don't have to worry about going out to work. Well, where is all this got? If it's such a socialist government, why haven't they done it? Why hasn't Labour done it? Why hasn't anyone bothered doing anything that's full of people? Because all these governments are traitors. They're traitors to the people. They're not even working class people. And us as working class men and women, we're supposed to stand there and say, oh yeah, I'm going to give you my vote. Why are we even voting for these people? These idiots that are putting in the shirt and tie, and they don't look or speak like us. What are we doing? We've done it. We have to vote, but we have to vote for someone. So we vote for these clowns, but these clowns have the power, and look what they've done. They've screwed everyone for the next 30, 40, 50 years.
They played a game where they spin a narrative for a TV screen, and what they do, and the conservative government is very good at it, and that is they've always been very good at spinning a narrative. And simultaneously kicking their voters in the bollocks and still getting them, whilst kicking them in the bollocks, to vote for them. It's an amazing trick. I don't know how they do, but they also manage to get them to pay them as well. It's the best scam on earth. We'll do nothing for you. We'll do nothing that we say. We're going to kick you in the bollocks and you're going to pay us. You can't blame them. Do you know what I mean? They've got the best job on earth.
But it never used to be like that. So how have we allowed that to happen? If you go back to the 50s, 60s, 60s, your MP was a respected man, like your doctor, like your police officer. He was a respected man. And if you had a problem, he'll go to Parliament and sort that out because he was of the people. He knew he was representing the people. So how have we let it go from that to now? And he's like, I'm part of the problem because I've allowed it to happen. You know, I've gone through an electoral system, not really knowing what happened before and what to expect in the future. But now I do.
When you look backwards, you can see even in the 90s that you look at the reception. Forget the reasons. You look at the reception Blair got when he got in power. It was the first reception like that in this country or anything like that in years. And it was, I truly believe at the time it's because people were so sick and tired. They really believed that they would usher in change, and they certainly did. It was a cultural revolution, one we didn't need. And but the point of it was they didn't know any better at the time. They knew better by the end of it. And then I think that some people have just been duped by their faith in that ballot box. I feel like I have, and I didn't have much faith in the ballot box, but I started to realize that I needed to in order to be playing the game. But the question I'm stuck with at the moment is people. I see people in the comments a lot often saying that democracy is completely buggered and that's it, game over. And I can't accept that, because otherwise, what are we doing here? So, but at the same time, it's obviously democracy, I feel, is in some kind of death throes at the moment. It's malfunctioned from way before Brexit was a brilliant way of showing where our democracy had really got to. It really highlighted
because we voted out. The democracy was upheld at the vote. It's after Brexit. That's when the politicians get involved.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The politicians were traitors.
That's what I was referring to. The politicians, the way that they behaved.
Yeah,
the way that they behaved after that Brexit was a wonderful example where our politicians have got to, and they were perfectly happy to go rogue, and nearly did and would have done.
How can your politician, okay, in some of these places say, I know you all voted to leave, but I firmly believe in Remain, so I'm going to vote against the government. How can your politician do that? Because he's a member of the people. He's only a representative of the people. He's not the prime minister. He's not whatever. So if I say to my conservative guy, I've had many rows with him. If I say to him do something, I expect him to do it. That's what I pay him for. Nothing else. He ain't my mate. He ain't nothing else. He does me a service that I can't do. If he can't do it, I'll do it.
It's supposed to be your servant.
Exactly. And when you call them a public servant, remember when you call the police a public servant, you are a public servant, which they are. Oh, we don't serve no one. Oh, no, you don't know more, because Cressida Dick and all the other police commissioners up and down the countries have made sure that during the coronavirus, you got all these powers. So now you don't serve people. Yeah, you are now the masters. Because if I walk down the street and I see a police officer, and they used to say this, right? The black people used to say, oh, when I walk down the street and see a police officer, I'm scared I'm going to get beaten up. Right, and I used to be like, oh, that's rubbish, man. What's wrong with them? Right, just don't get in trouble with the police. Now I can kind of understand what they're saying, because if I walk down the street with no mask on, I see a police officer, what's he going to do to me? Is he going to approach me with respect, or is he going to approach me 99% of the time like how he has them, because he had a bad day, because he's angry, because he knows I'm on the right? He's just going to come and try and pummel me. Then he's going to press the little thing on there, and I'm going to get 50 coppers there. Next thing I know, I'm twisted up in the back of a meat wagon.
With all the worst headlines about you.
Exactly. For over what? Because I wasn't wearing a mask. The power. And this is the powers we're giving away. If people don't revolt over this, then you can't. Because the powers you're giving away, we're not going to get back under no circumstances of any of these powers we've given away. Even stop and search Sadiq Khan saying he's going to stop and search in London. He's going to put 40% more black and ethnic people in power, right? The only reason that he's going to say that is because he needs the black people to be part of his system when they're going to lock people down again, when they're going to take people's rights away. Because you're not going to say, oh, this black copper beat up this other black kid. That's not news. It's got to be a white black kid.
We've got a wonderful religion cult, both. The cult of the mask, which is happening now. And it's very real. I mean, you said earlier on about how divisive it was. It's a real thing. It's fucking mask, which is not really unanimously agreed upon to do anything. Either way, really. This mask is become a symbol of a lack of freedom. And
it's oppression, like Muslim women. It's oppression, like Muslim women. We're all walking around like Muslim women, oppressed as fuck.
Yeah, and it's with the distance. I'll tell you, honestly, I couldn't. I tried not to think it. I tried not to let it creep into my head. But I'm in shops all the time now, and it's like the distance, even with people is noticeable now. It's noticeable. I'm somebody that's always tracking and not acknowledging body language, and it's just like you can see how awkward they are, but they're afraid, or they're this, or they're afraid. Not just afraid of COVID, but they're afraid of what your reaction might be if they get too close. Are you going to go absolutely apeshit because somebody invaded your private? I mean, there is just this whole horrible feel. So even if you are one of the people that go, "Oh, I'm going out," it's socially awkward. It's socially awkward.
Do you remember at the beginning of it where people would still shake hands and they still hug and whatnot, and they'd be like, "Oh no, social distancing, bro, social distancing. It's all a joke." Go to that person now and then try and give them a hug, man. They're like, "What are you doing?" They're scared. They're like, "What, really? Where's the jokes? Where is it?"
For me, it was the other way around. For me, it was like, okay, well, this COVID thing's happened. Okay, maybe I should take this seriously. And then as this has gone along, I've just been like, "You kidding me?" And just, I mean, okay, "You kidding me" is the glib way of putting it, but the horrible underlying feeling I get. And by the way, I'm not even someone that says COVID isn't real. I just think what's being done in its name and the freedoms that we once again, like we were. So when I was referring back to VPNs and when I was referring back to the internet being censored as it is now, we handed those freedoms over without a single complaint.
Yeah.
Just there you go. And somebody said, "How do we get here?" We got here by a treacherous government, B, education, and C, by literally handing over our freedom, by giving it away.
Just giving it freely. They didn't even really pay us for it. They didn't really even say, "Do you know what? Here's what's going to happen." Now they're threatening. This is the payback. Now they're threatening that if you don't get a vaccine, then you're not gonna be able to go back into life. But they want a social distance, okay, because they don't want us to be sociable. Then the only reason we can be sociable is on the computer. So then on the computer, what they're saying is, if you say certain words or certain things, we're going to censor what you say. Okay, so it's going to come to a state where people are isolated themselves in their own home, and then they're going to have mental health issues where nobody can help them because everyone is socially unaware of everyone else.
So you look at YouTube with its left-wing morals and agenda, but even for them, it's odd for them that probably the harshest thing they're on at the moment is COVID. Talking about COVID, I've had to start calling it the global bastard on this channel to avoid getting flagged and all sorts. They are really hot on you talking about it. They really don't like it. And they are ripping videos and channels down all over the place for this. Under misinformation thing. I mean, it's like, well, hang on a minute. There is no right-wing media. We are being dished misinformation daily. All I have to do is turn on the television. You're gonna get morally righteous on me.
It's not about. This is what people are not understanding on the left or whatnot. It's not about having the correct information all the time, because that makes you a sheep as well, because the information is correct. It's sometimes about giving a bit of misinformation here and there. So you go and research the subject yourself. So you go and find the truth. You hear what the news says, you hear what the newspaper says, and then you Google, and not even Google, but you find out the research in yourself, and then you get to the middle point. And that middle point is normally
100%.
It's normally agree. So it's good to have misinformation out there. I don't mind having fake news out there, because it puts me on I'm like, really? And I Google into it and I'm like, oh, it's rubbish. But then I found something else, and then I'm knowledgeable because I'm
And a
like,
bit of
okay,
exaggeration as well, because if it gets someone to click on a bit of a title, it's a bit exaggerated, but it gets someone into reading it. Why not?
exactly.
Yeah, if it gets people, if it pulls people in, it just seems to me that from the time that I've been watching the numbers on the internet, that there's a hell of a lot of people that are supposedly of the same mind. Hell of a lot. And so where are they? Where are they? Are you guys ever going to come and get engaged? Doesn't and by the way, it doesn't mean, I mean, demos are one thing and they're a means to a particular end, but there's lots of things. I mean, if it was just demos, it would be ineffective completely. They cover just a small fraction of the things that need to be done.
Yeah.
But that, you know, there's so many things on so many different levels, and I know some people are helping. Excuse me, but it's like I saw that I before we came on, I watched that video with Tommy Robinson and Gerard Batten. There was one thing Gerard Batten said at the end of the video, and I thought he's on the money there. I hope he's on something there when he said he hoped if Trump has, I mean, I don't know what's really going. I've got to the point of just switching off, but if he has lost and he doesn't get back in office, then he hoped that he would open a right-wing media corporation, and I just thought that is actually one of the best ideas I've heard.
I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna anyway. I think his son's gonna do it. Junior, he's gonna do it. They need to do it. They need to do it. But
Yeah,
like with demos and that, it's a bit. Do you know what? It's a bit embarrassing to be saying that the right, because the left are doing demos left, right, and centre. Right. The Manchester, Liverpool, they're coming out in the hundreds of thousands. There's like literally thousands. Right. Bristol today, they outnumbered the police, and the police run. Right. They outnumbered them in Bristol. These are all left-wing demos, right? And the right wing can't even get 200-300 people in London, from London. You know, they can't get huge numbers to Speaker's Corner every single weekend, every single Sunday to protect the people there and to protect the freedoms that we hold. So I don't know. You know, people are saying it behind the screens and whatnot, and they're not really having that jump forward. So it is quite embarrassing, to be fair, for a lot of people. We're just taking a lot of shit and accepting it these days. You know,
yeah.
like I said before, like if you want to call me an anti-vaxxer, I'll accept it. If you want to call me a right-wing misinformational man, I'll accept it. And I'll stand by anyone on the right who is like a centre right and people call them racist. I'll stand by them and say, no, they're not. Do you know what I mean? But it's about people having to have that ownership of their beliefs inside, you know, their beliefs of history, their beliefs of history of the British Isles, the laws, the traditions. If you've got that, then all that's going on now, we cannot accept it. Literally, it's undefendable.
And I'll tell you what, it was history. I was researching a few things. I ended up accidentally bumbling into history. And, you know, I always accidentally make the pun all roads lead to Rome, because if you start researching history, you're going to bump into politics. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
And it was the whole history. I don't know where I'm going with this now. I've completely forgotten. But it was the whole history thing that got me. Oh, no, that was just the history side of it. It was the whole history that got me here. And if you're a person that finds history boring, I mean, I absolutely thought it was incredibly boring. And then I got a bit older, and I actually looked with things that I was interested in. And you look at the history of this country for as long back as you can trace it, and there are holes. But if you look at the history of this country, it's absolutely one of the most phenomenal stories you're ever going to read and know that was real, and that, as best we know, and is a part of your past. It's incredible. It's incredible what's happened just on this island. And it's an amazing thing to be engaged with. And then you realize, if you don't have to be a genius to realize that it's all the blood, it's all of the things that the left shout down about what has happened in the past. All of these things that have given us what up until recently have been the freedoms and the chances and everything else we've got now, which we've then handed over, given away sloppily, given away, and let let the inmates run the asylum kind of thing.
Exactly.
We let them run away with this.
It's like with the super. I don't know if you could put the Super J's chat up. What his comment?
Super J, hey man, good to see you.
See this, yeah. This is 100%. Imagine that. Imagine it was on the right, and the right was done of fraud. You know, they said, "Oh, Trump was frauded." America would burn down. America would literally burn down. But because it's the right, they perceived us as we won't do anything because we're for law and order. We're for this. You know, we won't do anything. So that's why I'm so proud of the Proud Boys, because, you know, they're standing
Give example of this in places like Seattle. Is it Portland? In America, the weeks running up to the election, they were having riots every night, and this is just for an election, and in the places they're in, they're left-wing places anyway. So you got, I think it was in Portland, you got the mayor who's a lefty, and the person who's going to be going to run against that mayor who's an Antifa supporter. So they're both that side of the aisle. But still, that's not enough for the Antifa mob. So they've chased that mayor out of town. They've chased that mayor out of town. Not left enough. Not socialist enough.
Exactly.
And this is the problem that people don't realise.
This is where they're coming to. Now they've got control. They can say, "Well, you're not enough of us."
Yeah.
So now you lot can go, because we're the neo-Marxists now. You know,
when you raise your competition, you've got a new bottom line of where you're working from.
Exactly.
So suddenly it's from you working from here, and it's like, whoa, hang on, the game's over from that point.
Exactly. The game is close to be over now in the UK. Every 100 years or so, with history, we have a revolt. We're a kind of nation who we revolt against the kings and queens and the people who rule us, because nobody rules us and it's all consent and that. Yeah. So we always revolt. We start a revolution. There's more people here now who are men wearing makeup. You know, a lot of the men that would have to go to battle, would have to uprise. They're just not anymore. They're just left. They're lefties and they're doing their thing. And, you know, there's not many people left to start that struggle. You know,
trying to fit in and be socially acceptable.
It's crazy. Just nobody's willing to stand up on the right.
How many times? I mean, I can't do it, and I probably seem rude to people. I try not to be, but how many times do you go out and have glass conversations with people because they're frightened to tell you anything that they actually care about or think about?
Oh, all the time. All the time. I can speak to people all the time, and I'll speak to them and I'll say, "What do you think of Black Lives Matter?" "Oh yeah, but I don't really like it, but I don't disagree with it either." And I'm like, that's not what you really want to say. You're only saying that because of me. You don't really know where to put your line.
Yeah, which side of the fence? So go on, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even if you come out and said the most horrible things, yeah, you was true to yourself. So I've got, you know, I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to like you after it, but you was true to yourself.
Oh, I've got to tell you, you're all part of a conspiracy, by the way. So
What,
I was told on the channel the other night that I'm using you. This is how easy you are. I'm using you as a front man. You are a front man.
Wait, I'm Danny Tomo's token. I'm your front man. I'm Tommy's poster boy. Come on, man. Does that mean for me? Why these people who are non-racist telling me I'm just not me? I've got to be someone's puppet or someone's something.
This person then chastised me and asked me how many black viewers I had on the channel.
Dude,
I know.
British viewers. That's all we have. We don't have black or
white. One of those. And it was like, do you know what? I don't know if they do. I don't think they do break it down into race and your demographic stuff anyway. But it's never occurred to me to look. I mean, who thinks like that?
Yeah.
How many black viewers you got? How many black people you got watching you? Well, actually, I don't know because I can't see them the other end and I'm not thinking about it. You insane internet weirdo! What on earth is wrong with you? Everything is.
Was that on here? Was it? Where was that? Was that on this channel?
It was. No, yeah, it was on this channel. It was just. They were just. I was trying to have a sensible conversation with them, and I thought we were getting there, but they just started talking about. Yeah, how many people? So I said, "Oh, so we're at quotas. How many black people you got watching?" And it was just I can't remember the detail that went into, but you were a front man, You're a front man for, I guess for my particular brand of racism, I suppose. I guess so. I don't know what that really makes you, a front man, but
I don't know, because I'm very anti stuff. So if I was doing this for to be your front man, I've basically written my life going forwards, like, do you know what I mean? Just for being a front man status. That was well worth it. Do you know what I mean? That's well worth me going down and seeing a whole lot of black folk and him saying, "Yo, Danny," yo. I know where this is going, man. This is going to go south quick.
One of the funny things was, I said to you off air, I said sorry, I haven't been about, because we haven't spoke very much since Speaker's Corner, have we?
No.
And I said, yeah, man, I haven't been around. Sorry, I haven't been feeling great. And you're like, I listen to this message back, and I play this message back, and I'm thinking, I hope he's all right with me. You know what I mean? And I hear this guy go, Tom, using your white privilege, thinking that you can contact me after 2 weeks and not bothering, and using your white privilege. One of the best messages ever. I was made up with that.
It's got done. He would. But
Danny does these golden messages every now and again, but he sets himself up for the fall, because I always remind him the next message is never going to live up to the first
I've already hit the top. So it's all been downhill for the last few weeks.
Downhill. That's why I haven't been on for the last few weeks. I didn't even want him on. I was just like, what can you say now?
I'm your front man, and I've done a bad job. So I media training. Tom put me to, what is it? He's put me into unconscious bias training.
Right, exactly. I'm appealing to the white side of you, Danny. I'm trying to get you to the white side. Oh God.
That's gonna be someone's gonna clip that now. Someone's gonna clip that.
Oh, I'm
That's
trying to get you to the white side, Danny.
You know what I mean?
Always.
Tom
That's been done to me a few times.
Tom turns against the front man. Tom turns against the stooge. Tom turns against.
Rouse! Tom shows his racist colours on. Yeah. That'll be quite good. But so because you to be here, to be doing this, you must feel like democracy can be saved, just in some way, shape, or form.
It can be, but it's difficult. Not in our life, not for me and you, not for the next 30 years. We can't, but we can lay the foundations for the next generation to come up and follow what we're doing, and then them teach the kids behind them to follow. So it is possible, yeah, but it's a huge change, and people need to, as a country, they need to stand up and demand that change. And I always say this, and I know I sound like I'm barking on the same thing, but we need to go to a nationalist government to put the people of Britain first, to change the education system, to change the police system, because it is a total two-tier system. Okay, it's not even, it's very much biased now, not even against colours or not. It's just on political wings, left and right. You couldn't have. Do you remember a few years back, the guys had Help for Heroes, and the Muslims said no, because of the war in Afghanistan, you've got to all take it off. And the police said, we're not political, so we've got to take it off. So what happened now? Do you know what I mean? The police now are saying we are political, we are very left wing, and we're able to say that. So that's where the two-tier system is coming in. And if we just vote Labour or Tories or whatever, it's never going to happen. We voted for Brexit, so we believe in our country. So why can't we believe that nationalist governments can govern our country? Look at Scotland. I know SNP are rubbish, but it's a nationalist government. You know what I mean?
We've peered into parts of Britain on this show already. We've had people on, and we've talked to Amory Waters, and we've talked to others. And I mean, with Amory Waters, the passion and the honesty is there. And if you can't see it, then you just don't want to. You speak to these people; they are normal people. That is exactly what we need.
Yeah. Like I said earlier,
these people that have been living in this fucking bubble,
your area. Yeah, your area, only your people know it, right? Like you said earlier, your area is changing. The place you grew up in, or I don't know if you grew up there, or the way you live for a long time, you've seen it change. So some guy from Westminster, some guy that's going to come down and sit in there and try and take an easy seat, he's not from your community. So this is what I'm saying about For Britain and nationalist government, because They need people from within, working class people. If we don't know anything about politics, we don't need to, because we've got civil servants to do that. That's their job, right? So we need working class people from the area to then put themselves forward to be voted in to take their communities to Westminster, and that's how it should be. It shouldn't be someone from the outside. A working class lad.
If you don't want politics to be dirty, then replace all the dirty politicians.
Exactly.
At least the ones in power.
And it's not gonna be different. It's not gonna be like, oh no, but what if this happened? What if that happens? We've had Tories or Labour for the last 40, 50 years, right? That's all we've literally had, apart from one coalition that I can remember. So what worse can a nationalist government do? And people got to realise, to be proud of a nationalist government, to be proud of the country, to be proud of nationalism in itself. Look at America. They're proud of their country. They're proud of their flag, right? And look how the Magna rallies go. The Magna rallies go like crazy, because that is the amount of patriotism.
There's one other thing that people should consider as well, and quite seriously. There's a realism to this, and that's that there's something else that could happen if we don't usher in a sense of nationalism again. If we don't do this now by choice, then if the left didn't win, the other thing that could happen is that you get a nationalist movement that explodes onto the scene from one of the current fringes that isn't selling the kind of nationalism that you want. And by the time they explode on the scene, the frustration could be so much as to carry the momentum with them.
Yeah.
And that's something else you don't want, because that's a realistic possibility. You keep pushing, you got a chance of something pushing back. And it's like, we need to push back before people just take the easier, angrier options. And I do believe that could happen. I do believe that could happen.
That's why on election night they got the swingometer, because it is just a pendulum swing, but then suddenly it goes further outside, and then when you get total chaos, you hit the far sides. Either side of it, you hit the far sides, and that's what we can't do. That's what we can't. That's what we can't do. But if nobody does anything, then it's a private vote, so you're going to get the people who are on the racists, the fascists. They are going to come and sweep in and take everyone, because it's going to be like, well, we don't care anymore about nothing. We don't even care who that person is. We just want X, Y, and Z. So we just need to build it gradually, as to say, this is what nationalism is. This is what patriotism is. This is a national government. Let's see what they can do.
And you know what bugs me is I support Tommy. You know how much respect I got for him and what he's done. And something that I always took notice of that Tommy always said is he wanted the movement to be bigger than him. And I always felt that he wasn't necessarily asking, but I always felt that indirectly that was another way of saying time for people to get involved. That's the way I took it anyway. That was the inspiration I took from it. And I see people, and bear in mind, Tommy's out doing his thing quite a lot. I mean, you said yourself, Danny, you're surprised at how much you got to do behind the scenes to do this.
It's amazing.
It's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes and people don't realize. And so, you'll never be able to explain to someone what it takes to make a video or do it unless you're doing it. But what amazes me is you've got a man that's got all these restrictions. He's restricted in every way, surveillance, everything. And then you get people who support Tommy, but sort of in a disgruntled way go, well, where's Tommy at the moment? Why is Tommy not doing something? And it's like, well, hang on. If he calls a demo, what do you think is going to happen? If he does this, what do you think? If he turns up here, why don't people do their own things?
This is what I've had the conversation about with many
things happen around the country. He can turn up. He can turn up to one of them.
Do you know what?
Unannounced.
Exactly. I've got all the respect for Tommy. Right, I followed him for many, many, many years. Okay, he's local to me. Our towns are opposite towns. Yeah, obviously the football we're rivals, but in England matters we're definitely working together. And I've said this before, and I've said Tommy can't do anything without getting hassle from the police. So why don't we just start doing our demos, right? We do demos, and if Tommy wants to go to one, he'll go to one, okay?
Right.
And then you get to see him, you get him to hear him speak, you get everything, but you're there predominantly for the cause. You're not there just to go,
exactly. So you shouldn't need the added fucking you shouldn't need the dangling of bait on a hook.
He's gone too far. He's done too much for this country, right? For people not to follow him. He's done too much. He's done too much prison time. Okay, he's done too much stuff for the politicians. Them putting him in jail. They ruin his life. Okay, they target his family, right? And they don't give him nothing in the media. No good words, even when they know that he's right. He's done his bit for this country, right? And he deserves now for people to stand up and do their own thing, and he will come and follow people. He will come and support them. But he shouldn't be going out doing X, Y, and Z because nobody else will. Nobody else.
If we've only got one guy who's prepared to stand, and I'm not saying we have, but I'm just saying if we only got one guy who's prepared to stand up and say we need to do this, we need it. But that's it, and it's over because.
It's easy to stop one person. It's easy to stop. Imagine we all had a demo in every single major city, okay? And we all went to our individual ones at the same time, at the same day. What could the police do? What would the police do?
Nothing they could do.
The resources.
Just like when we were at Trafalgar, and I said to that copper, I said, about how come they weren't doing nothing when the biggest crowd was there, and he got him to sort of admit off camera because there's nothing they could do. And it's exactly the point. There's, 43,000. That was enough to completely take the power away.
Shut it down. There's only 124,000 coppers in the whole of the UK, right? So in London, you're only going to have at any time probably 5,000 coppers, right? So if you can bring a good 5,000, 6,000, yeah. So it's even 1 for 1. The police will be outnumbered. They themselves, their health and safety will say this is not safe. We cannot go in. We cannot do nothing. We've got to wait till it quietens down.
It's like when Black Lives Matter chased them across the bridge.
Chase them, and they run like idiots. Yet they think they can stand up and throw our vets down and beat up our veterans and arrest them because they want to do something. No, that's not happening. Yeah, but if we can all just do our individual demos, yeah, and it's hard now, I know, because it's a £10,000 fine. Yeah. But if you believe in it, then you're going to do it. Do you know what I mean?
But the other thing as well is there's a time for demos and stuff where we're on here and we're broadcasting out and saying let's meet up here and there. There's also a time to do things on the quiet. There's times to do both. And if you're meeting up in areas, that can be done within groups. I don't mean for violence. I just mean for peaceful protests. But that can be done, in area by area. I mean, there's so many different ways you could come at it. Whereas
even if we got to start showing these people that we mean business. And that means we mean that we're gonna fulfil our democratic right and our rights as British people. And even if it's 10 people outside your local council and you're demonstrating against your local issues, that still has a movement. That still gains traction because people will be like, well, there's 10 people here this week. Look at Greta Thunberg, right? I can't stand that woman, right? But if the story is true, every Friday she went she did her homework or something at the Prime Minister's house or something like that, outside his house. He was making a protest. And now look at that small little thing that she done and look at it. The whole world's gone crazy. So
she's a foundation now.
Yeah, even if every on one Friday we say, right, everyone is going to go to the councillors, go to the council offices and demand to speak to the MP, right? Every Friday we're going to do that at, say, 2:00. And 20 go to one place, 10 go to another place. It's not the amount of people that are going. It's the fact that somebody said that and people have done it. So all throughout the country, the discourse is there. So imagine the way that the governments now think. Imagine someone like Tommy then said, let's do it en masse. And that's why they don't like him, because they know he has the capabilities of bringing 50,000 people at any place, at any time.
Yeah.
But
he's done that, and he's done that successfully. But we're at the stage now where we shouldn't need Tommy dangled in the tank to get people to come to the smell of blood. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but it's about people. It's about people willing to do it, though. You know.
Yeah.
Now, I know I've got a couple of things in the pipeline, so it's not me saying, "Oh, I'm telling people to do X, Y, and Z," because over the next few weeks or months or whatever, people are going to actually see that I do mean what I say. I do back my words, kind of thing. But it's people have just got to do it. You know, it's not even about having. That's what I said. It's not about numbers in your individual ones. It's about just doing it, just doing it, and even if it's trials, and you're saying, let's see what happens if I did this. Well, see, if we went there, if we did this, even if it's that, you're still doing something. You're still protesting against the government, and that's
the worst place is down here where I live. Down. I'm not saying exactly where I live, but my end of the country. It's definitely one of the pussiest ends of the country. It's definitely one of the pussiest places in the country. And I don't believe it's necessarily people's belief systems. People just don't want to get involved.
Yeah, but if people don't want to get involved, then you don't want to get involved. But there is people out there that want to get involved, but they don't think other people want to get involved. So they just say nobody wants to get involved. So if you say and put it out there and say, look, we're doing this at this date, you'd be like, Jesus, there's like 50 people that said they're all going to come down, and then they come down with one of their mates. So then you got 100 people. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't. See what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be Wembley Stadium. Your demonstration doesn't have to be Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So my demonstrations that I'll be doing coming up will be either me or a few people, yeah. But I'll be doing it at strategic places. Okay, it'll be at proper places. So it doesn't. You don't need
this is true. I mean, let's say there's only 4 of you going to somewhere. There's something that you can do to make a statement.
1 film and 3 protests.
Yeah.
You've done it. You've got a visual. You've been there. You've done it. You've shown it.
Exactly.
You keep doing it and keep doing it and then people will be like, "Oh, he's going to be there on Friday, so I might jump in."
We're living in an era of memes and symbolism and virtue signaling, and I'm not suggesting to virtue signal, but there is certainly symbolism that can be grabbed by people just getting up and doing stuff. Meaningful. I mean, you know,
Yeah, I'm not saying do it for no reason, but I think we should go out and break lockdown rules. There you go. Danny Roscoe said it. Let's break these lockdown rules. I said it there, so you can fire me whatever you like, because I'll support everyone out there who breaks it. Every business out there, I'll support you 100%. 100%.
Well, do you know what? Do you know, I ain't gonna leave you out in the shark water. Like, so I'm totally backing that up. Like, I'm saying it as well, man. Get out of your house.
We can't let this shit happen, man. Honestly, we could not let this happen. Honestly,
I haven't had a lockdown. That's the honest truth. Not once, not twice. It hasn't happened to me. Not. Okay, it's happened to me in as much as coaches have stopped to going to London and stuff like that. But it hasn't happened to me as in I've carried on walking out my door probably more often than less. And I'm still here, and I haven't got £10,000 fine so far, and I'm fine. Guys, I'm still alive.
Exactly. I went to a wonderful place without baiting up the whole town. I went to a wonderful place. It's on my YouTube, so you can go and find out where I went. All right. And honestly, I went past 2 pubs that were open. Right. I went past all the shops that were open, and not one person wore a mask. Right. And I went up this mountain. I did a little thing up there. And I came down. Right. And I thought, oh, I wonder why it is. And I just drove past, and it was just a normal little village. You type, and like. The policeman would know, so the policeman would be like, they ain't gonna come, city folk ain't gonna come down here. Do you know what I mean? There's no visitors anyway, because they're not allowed, because they're all gonna be locked down. I spoke to 2 walkers, and they're like, they basically said that it's a wonderful place. It's in Middle England. This is what you call Middle England. And I was like, it isn't all. No, it is. It's a beautiful place. So it doesn't. It's not this thing that they're saying. Yeah, there's a virus going about, but this virus is going about all the time. Why has something got to be minus 70 degrees? Why has it got to be stored at minus 70? When it hits my body at 36 point whatever it is, it's going to explode something. I'm telling you, being from that cold to that hot, something's going to happen. But we can't accept it. If you don't want to die at any point, sorry, we're all going to die. Literally, we're all going to die. Yeah. So you can't get away from not dying. So if COVID's going to kill you, you've got a choice of staying in your house or breaching it. If you want to stay in your house, I respect that 100%. If you want to believe in it, I respect that 100%. Okay, but I'm not going to stop saying what I say about it, and I'm not going to stop people from not losing their businesses and stuff like that from the government because when Asda's open. In fact, you know what? We should all go down Asda on a Friday. Let's just say about 3 o'clock, your local Asda's, and we ask them why are you still open and why are you breaking the businesses in your area? Because they're selling the same thing as what they're doing. They're scandalous. We should go down there.
Yeah, it's interesting because, again, to hark back to Peter Hitchens, he said that in the local villages he goes to, it's a small place like this where you could kind of get away with a little bit more. And he said the businesses there had literally fall over themselves to try and comply with all the COVID rules to keep their business open. They spent money to be able to keep the businesses open, and it didn't matter what they did. There'd be some new thing that they would deliberately find to make it harder for them. Till in the end, they're putting these people either out of business or close to it and closed down again. And he said these people are doing everything to work with them. They're doing everything to try and make it, as COVID friendly as possible. There's no incidents that broke out of these places for them to say not good enough or to change it. They're just finding reasons to stop it. So all these small businesses are getting attacked like this.
Exactly. It's a wonder why the small businesses are getting attacked. COVID does abuse people, yet the gyms are closed. Okay. These small businesses are putting all their PPEs and all that, and yet there's not one outbreak at Tesco's or Asda's or any of the big supermarkets. There was one at Amazon, I believe, in my area that I heard about. There's a little outbreak. That's one person, and he got isolated. So it's not where they're saying it is. So why are they closing these businesses down? And why they're not just saying, do you know what? Open then. You're just going to lose your reputation because you're open during lockdown. Why is it this 10,000 fine? Why is it a 5,000 fine? Why do they want this money off of us? Because if it's to stop people, if people think they can't protest, they can't do anything because they're losing their jobs. They've lost their jobs already. They've got no jobs come March, 100%. If you're on the furlough system, a lot of you are going to lose your jobs, right? So why are they then saying, right, they can't open and try and get money in, their reputation will be put down because of opening during lockdown, but we're going to fine them. It's a huge amount of money. They'll fine you more than anything else just for trying to make money for your family, to feed your family. So if you're worried about not doing anything because you're going to lose your job, if you carry on down this line of accepting it, you're going to lose your job come March.
There's a massive hit coming for the middle class and the upper working class. It's a massive hit coming, and if you can't see it coming, it's like ignoring a huge asteroid coming at the planet. Blowing up the sun. I mean, it's coming. There's a huge hit coming. You can't trust many figures that you see at the moment, but they're talking about it costing America $3 trillion. I don't know. That's now.
Biden gets in. Biden said he's going to close the day one. He's going to get, if Biden gets in day one, he's closing down he's closing down the economy. He's already said that in as many words. He's going to close it down. He's going to go for a 4 to 6 week lockdown. Why? They've got thousands of people dead. Yeah. Okay, we've got 50,000 dead. I pray for every single one of the deaths. Yeah, I'm not trying to mock them or anything like that. Yeah, I feel sorry for every one of them. But we've got 66 million people in this country, right? So if that got to half a million people, I'd wonder what's going on. I'd say, you know what, guys, this is serious. It's 500,000 people, so that's 10% of our population. It's not got that. It's not got there. Oh, because we're going to stop it getting to that far. Well, let's just see. What would it be? Where's the modelling?
And the other thing is,
there's none.
The other thing is that the thing they've been talking about for so long was herd immunity. This is where I get ripped off YouTube. They were talking about herd immunity, and then once this has started to gain some momentum, and people have started to feed off this a little bit because it made sense to at least everybody's understanding of it. Oh, they started closing that door down really, really quickly. The media jumped on it was jumped on very quickly. Oh, now there's a case of a guy that got it twice. Get a case of it, and there was apparently 4 cases in the world of people getting it twice. 4. cases in the whole world of people who may have had it twice. They think they've had it twice.
No, it's worse
Hardly a reason to get alarmed.
No, you get it worse now. Now it's long COVID, and then now it's long COVID, and it's dementia COVID, and it's dementia killing more people. You know that dementia's killing most of the people in the UK now. It's up 10%. I don't know if anyone knew that. What it is up the deaths of non-COVID dementia. Okay, and that's just pure isolation. But what I want to say is about that herd immunity. Well, one second. Sorry, the herd immunity. People like James O'Brien, it's people like Piers Morgan who want to bash the government at every single time. It's people. Sadiq Khan was on LBC on Friday, right? And it was like, Sadiq Khan, and this guy's come in and he said something. I can't remember what it was now. And Sadiq Khan's first response: "This is the mayor of London. This is the metropolitan mayor of our city, talking to a person from North London. You shouldn't listen to Tory propaganda because your eyes have been burnt out." What the hell? And he's allowed to say that. Then James O'Brien backs up the mayor. These people like these that said about herd immunity is so bad, and then everyone jumps on them thinking that they're all specialists in it because James O'Brien had said it, and that's why herd immunity went out. If we'd allowed herd immunity and it had gone like super bad, I would be the first person to say, Boris, you got to go. That was a wrong call. You tried it, but you can't do it. Do you know what I mean?
Was it the WHO? Someone came out recently, some big body came out recently and said that they now changed their stance. They were now against lockdowns. And the reason they gave, which was actually a common sense reason, it was the first common sense thing I've heard said, was that it's based on the do no harm principle, that it's doing more harm than it's saving. If this was all real and genuine, it's still doing more harm than it's saving. People are killing themselves. Things are badly happening that are affecting us worse than any virus could.
Exactly. So how can the prevention be worse than the cure? How can the worse than the outbreak itself? How can I'm not even. Do you know what? I'm so against lockdown. Yeah, I'm not even locked down. Yeah, I can still go to work. Okay, I still go traveling up and down the country. I still do my own thing. Yeah, but it's a principle of a lockdown, right? I see people in their houses, right? I see people who are vulnerable, who would never say they're vulnerable. Male suicide is the biggest thing because men do it. Women will talk about it and whatnot, and a few of them will go for it. Most men will just do it. And this is important because men who have lost their family and now they've lost their job and now they can't provide for their family for Christmas, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go, do you know what I mean? They're going to have to see there's no way out. And they can't go.
It's when we're at our extremes, due to the slight difference between men and women. Men are more aggressive and they use more lethal means. So on average, I think women try it slightly more often, but the numbers of men and women are massive. But men will massively succeed where women won't. Men will go for the most lethal methods when they do it.
Yeah, and this is and locking people down like that is not allowing them to get what help they need to get, or even just to get out and stop it. Imagine someone, right, who's at the end of their life. Yeah, but he's at the end of his tether, and all he wants is a drink. Right? He's saying, I want a red stripe. Right, so he goes to the shop. He forgets his mask. Every single day he wears a mask. He forgets his mask. And then he sees one of them police officers with an attitude who then tried to fine him £200. They don't know what's happened before. They just know at that point, and they've shown you no respect or anything. What's that man going to do? He's going to go and get his drink and he's going to say, I'm done with this. This is...
Yeah, I'm still haunted. There's this house around the back of my mum's where I met this guy this summer. And I was talking to him and his missus. I hadn't spoken to him before, but he said that he was on his last few months of life. He had cancer, and I was like, "You're on a lockdown, and you're on terminal cancer. So, stage last stage, it's stage 5. Anyway." And I go past that house now because I remembered at the time saying something about it on here and just thinking, Jesus, what a way to. And now I go past the house now, wondering if that guy's still alive, but I haven't knocked yet. I want to knock,
you don't know how he's going to take it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's just so many. Yeah, are you still alive? Yeah, there's so many people though in this country that have been in a similar position. You hear these stories, but it's real. It's like it's actually.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say that's something that I meant that when I was on the right view with Danny Tomo, that's what we're saying, that we're missing that community-minded spirit, of
Yeah.
just going and knocking on the door, not caring what he said. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what we've got, and we're really missing that. And I think if we
I
did
blame
have
that on
that,
the political correctness.
yeah. But if we
People are
had
afraid to say anything.
that community spirit, would we be locked down? Would we be locked? No, because nobody would. Your community would come out as one and say, "We're not locking down. You're mad. We'll support you." The shop. We'll support, because no one really knows anyone. It's not that identity towards anyone, any people. It's hard to as you say, go around.
What people don't realise when you start losing traditions, the family round the table, stuff like this. I know it all sounds silly when you bring little bits and pieces up, but it ends up with, and this political correctness ends up with a society where going to London is not too different from walking outside of my own front door in the terms of the way people treat each other like total and utter strangers. There's but I do sense with people there's more fear than ignorance. It is more fear than ignorance. You can feel it with a lot of people. You just don't know what to say, especially if they're in a certain job. It's even worse. I mean, I make doctors laugh because I say things I know they won't agree with, and I say it because
that you can get any ailments now. I'm going for the hardest drugs, I think, because I'm going to say to them, look, I've got this disease, and they'll be like, no, you haven't. I said, no, but COVID's asymptomatic as well, so I might have that. So do you know what I mean? Give it to me. They'll give me any pills I want. Oh, sorry. Anyway, go on. I'm so mad, Tom.
They give you a vaccine. They'll give you a vaccine. Well, what if they get it out?
They fucking would, mate. They fucking would. They give me the vaccine all day long, wouldn't they? And then, oh yeah, that's it. Black people now, because we're the minorities and we're the ones that are going to face the worst things. We're going to get it first. We're going to be priority now. Hell no. I don't want to be I don't want to be a guinea pig. These people mad. I don't want to be no guinea. You're not giving it to me first. And
me, please. Yeah.
Nice. Bane. Yeah, Bane. It's going to be Bane party. It's going to be. Oh man.
Mate, when we were at Speaker's Corner, something happened to me that I was quite surprised at, and that was that I didn't see coming what was obviously coming, because it was always obviously coming. But for once, I found myself at a loss, just like, what the fuck? I just found myself doing that, like, what the fuck? And you went on a brilliant rant.
No, that rant. Sorry, I'm cutting you off again, but you know that rant, yeah. Some guy, yeah. I got some Costello guy, yeah. He didn't credit anyone that put that video out, right? He took it as his own, but that's got like 32,000 views on Facebook.
There you go. There you go. It was the perfect, and it was so needed. It was so. I was filming you, and I was thinking, thank God Danny's saying this, because I've just been going, but it's really frustrated with myself.
Did you know what it is? Did you know I was going in a little bit hard? I was baiting them a little bit. I've got to admit that, because I knew they weren't going to do anything. Because I just knew it. I knew they'd look at me and they'd be like, "We don't really want to do it," until Tony pulled me and said, "You're getting arrested," and you all kind of ushered me out. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd been there all day. Do you know what I mean? I'd have been there all day just shouting at them, but. Imagine that was
because the lasers started to go on to you, Danny. They started to.
I was so angry, I just couldn't see anything, and then all of a sudden you just got to go. So I'm like,
it's frustrating when I know they don't want to get into the conversations or the rest of it, but it's frustrating when you're talking about Robert Peel and you can tell the nonchalance coming back at you. And
we don't need to know about it. What do you mean you don't need to? He's the founder of your organization. Yeah. You do need to know about him.
Yeah, I thought that was incredibly ignorant answer. And see, the thing of it as well is this just gives people like Black Lives Matter on the left more credence to their idea of defunding the police. Because everyone's in agreement that they're shit. We don't want that.
Yeah, but again, now what they come out with burn down the system. They come out with defunding the police, and do you know what? Again, 100%, I do not agree with anything that they do because they're Marxists. But I could then turn around to someone else and say we need to defund the police, just like that, without thinking about it. So that's their Marxist ideas put into my mind, and then I'm speaking it as a right winger to another person, and then they saying, yeah, we do actually, and then they say it to someone else, and all of a sudden we're all under this Marxist like shadow. So then we don't care anymore if they're going to defund the police. Let them do it, wherever. So then we're complicit. So we still got to say, no, we stand up for the police because they can't be defunded. And
we've got to stand up for the institution, the police, and what it's supposed to stand for.
Exactly, but it's a balancing act. So now, do we have to stand up for the Met Police? If they generally came out and said we're defunding them, we'd have to protest not to.
It's an
really
awkward situation.
And they've put us in that. The Metropolitan Police have put us in that. Yeah. Chris Sadiq has facilitated that, and Sadiq Khan needs to be sacked. Yeah. Simple as that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that he's been there so long after all the things that he said and done. I mean, people talk about Donald Trump, but there's Sadiq Khan is actually a person that has said and done some of the craziest words.
He says sorry, I'm cutting you off. He's so narcissistic though. He says someone asked him about his contestants, and he basically said, "There's no competition. I'll be here in 4 years' time. I'll be here next year. I'll win it." But do you know how
I think he sees himself in the country of London.
Yeah, he will win it as well.
He sees himself
because he'll use postal votes. If anyone says postal votes now, we've seen it in America. We cannot do it. You have to vote in person. But I guarantee he's even said it, and Keir Starmer said it as well. It's all about the mail-in votes. It's all about the postal votes. They know they can rig it now. They know that Domino's a European accounting company, is European, so they know they can defraud the system. That's still the vote. It's not just America. That's here as well, as in every European country.
I like to, more often than not, unless I'm using it to mirror what's going on here, I try and avoid the situation in America covering up too much. But what's your take of what's going on over there at the moment?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Something's going on. Something dodgy's going on because you can't have all the postal votes at 3 o'clock in the morning coming in for one candidate. And you know what else you can't do? You can't have 150 million people voting for presidents. It's never been done before. 5 million people voted for Biden. Come on. That's not happened. But then you got to say 72 people voted for Trump. So, how it opens a can of worms. All I know is it was corrupt at some point somewhere. But I don't think Trump can bring it back anyway because it's so far. The corruption is so deep, so far.
The narrative's gone so far already, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, we all know that if Biden wins it, Kamala Harris is going to be she's going to be the president because they will take Biden out. Now, Pelosi said about the 25th Amendment years ago, okay, to try and get Trump out, but that wasn't to try and get Trump out. That's to get Biden out. Okay, so they can get Biden out under like dementia or whatever, sniffing little babies, being a paedophile, and then Kamala Harris will be there. But we all know Kamala Harris is a Marxist. But then this Marxist Kamala Harris that says she smoked weed. Do you know what I mean? And that's not a big thing, but she says she smoked weed. Yet she's put in prison black males for possessing weed for life. So this is why would 71? Everyone knows the Democrats are racist. Everyone knows the Democrats had the KKK. Everyone knows Obama built the cages. He created more wars than anyone else. He dropped more bombs on people than anyone else. Everyone knows that. So why would they say the black people vote for the Democrats? And then the Latinos vote for Trump?
Everyone's so shocked that they didn't get the black vote that they thought they were going to get. And it's like, what do you expect when you're talking about a group of people that happen to share the same color skin as though they are fucking stupid?
That's what it is.
It just, you treat people stupidly. I bet some of those people didn't even like Trump. They're just like, I'm voting for him anyway because I ain't being treated like a chump.
This is what happened to Obama. Everyone started, and this is the truth. You can ask anyone in America that I've spoken to, right? No, but everyone says, every conservative said, we voted for Obama because they were sick and tired of saying black people could never do nothing in America. So they were like, fuck it. he's a puppet anyway. He's not going to do much. So if we vote for him, we can give the black children something to look up to and aspire to, because they can say, you know, black kids ain't doing nothing. Well, they can, because they can be president. It gives them aspiration, not because he was this Martin Luther King, not because of anything else, because
certainly not.
I'm sick and tired of a Democratic, Black Lives Matter people saying black people can't do nothing. That's why Latinos voted for Trump. Hang on a minute. Mexicans voted for Trump. He said he's going to build a wall. He built a wall. He kept out Mexicans. Apparently, every Mexican, but even the Mexicans knew which ones they were keeping out, and they were thankful for that. But yet, the narrative is on Biden being the savior of everyone. There's no chance he won that. No chance he won that. 100%.
I think the only place where Trump shot himself in the foot is that I think that we could safely say, win or lose, he would have said the same thing. And I think everybody knows that. And I think that's the one thing, is that part of how his brilliance has been being so nonchalant towards all this. But I do feel like he's fallen into the only trap they've managed to catch him in, which is that this election. That is that he was going to say this regardless.
No. Yeah, he was, because it's the way that the system rolls. As soon had to say there's fraud, even if he was winning, he has to say it's fraud. So that's why at the beginning he said fraud, because then it has to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court then got to go on Constitution, and the Constitution says it's got to go to the House of Representatives, and there's more people in the House of Representatives, not total, but by the regions that are going to be contested, they had more Republicans. So then Republicans are going to say it's Trump the winner.
American history's not yeah, but if he's even if he is the winner after something like this, then it just gives people another 4 years of excuses of why he's not my president. Yeah, because nobody will accept it from the other side.
Yeah, but you don't need to accept it by the other side, because that's only a minority. It's not 77 million people. But you've seen they've gone to DC. Yeah, they've not burnt it down. They've not done what Black Lives Matter. I agree.
I've thought that myself. Yeah.
So if Trump can get it right, there's going to be a legacy of Trumps for the next probably 20, 30 years, with all the children as well. Right, there'll be this legacy, a dynasty of the Trump family. So I don't think these people. The BLM, I think he'll come down strong on them. I think this time, if he gets in now and somehow they allow him to do it, he would get the National Guard to take over all Portland's and everyone that's rioting and whatnot. They'd just take control straight away. They'd put them on lockdown. They'd say, fuck it, COVID lockdown.
My feeling is that not everybody, but a lot more people, even people that are supposed to back him, could turn on Trump. But if he was to hold on, they'll soon change their minds, because they'll see that dynasty the same way you do. But honestly, the narrative is so far down the line now. I can't see him getting back in. I can't, regardless of what the truth is.
Yeah. The lies have happened on such an epic level. It's you got to question the whole Constitution if he doesn't get in. But then again, I can see him getting in on the Constitution. There's no joke that there's no, do you know what, the woman that died, the old woman that died, yeah, when she died, I said this is very questionable. She died at just the right point, because president can then put in his people. Right, so that's important that he had an extra Republican there. So I don't believe the death was just a normal death. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And on the Americans very constitutional. So on the Constitution says it's the House of Representatives that ultimately will know what the president is. So I can see that going down that route. 100%, because I can't see the whole scam getting blown open, but I can see it either being constitutional or him just saying, "No, I'll concede." He'll concede on January the 9th. Say, "No, fuck it. I can't do it." You know, and then opening up a right-wing media outlet that
I hope so.
that gunned down Biden and gunned down the Republicans at the same time. Because you got to remember, Trump's now got 71 million people that will tune in and will listen to what he wants people to hear. I don't care. That is powerful. You're going to get Ivanka
power,
in.
yeah.
You're going to get in. Oh, you can get Trump Jr. or Ivanka. One of my children, you're going to put in 4 years' time to the Republicans, or we're going to make you look stupid. And then to Biden, we're going to make you look stupid anyway, because you lot are just Marxists, and we're going to expose you for what you are. So you ain't never going to win nothing. So that there could be the thing that saves the world, because then it might come to England. He might say, let's open a franchise with in England, you know, with Nigel Farage. So Nigel Farage has got that right wing thing that we can all tap into and we can all use. So that one little thing might then just spread out to something magnificent for people on the right.
I think it could all come together at the same time, because I do think eventually we're all going to be purged from YouTube. And my hope is that instead of picking us off one by one like they are at the moment, is they just do a mass purge all at once. Because if they do that, they'll instantly create their own competition. They'll instantly force another platform to rise. So my hope is that when they do it all at once. Yeah. And that would actually, I think that would be a huge mistake. And if the timing of these other sites coming up and other things, you know, in terms of alternate media, we could be in for a treat if things go right. Because we're not safe on here for 1 second. None of us.
No, for sure.
There's nothing we can build on here that we can rely on for alternative news for any period of time that you could know would be there the next day when you go to look.
Yeah.
And that's something that would be great to have, because then it really could grow. It really would then grow, and without having that natural stopping thing. As soon as someone gets big, they get ripped offline, being too big.
Yeah.
So, you know, let's hope they're in places. I mean, you said yourself you're angry at the moment. What would you for you ideally? What would you want to happen next? Where would you want us to go from here? Because obviously there's a lot of things on the table at the moment that need being fixed, and obviously me and you are both pissed off.
Yeah, sorry. You know what? I get what you were saying. What we need to do now is to reclaim the streets and get back out on the streets and get protesting like hell. That's what we need to do now. We need to show the government we're not going to comply. We don't consent. We don't comply. If you want to bring in mandatory vaccines, you want to do all this, well, that's at a later date, because now you've got to get the people off the streets. I don't care if we go to jail, if we get fines, if we get this, that, and the other. We just got to take it. We just got to let it ruin us. If we have to, we're going to be ruined anyway. So why not just do it for the children? The children of England.
Send me and Danny Roscoe your I'm defying the COVID rule videos at thisiszeronews@gmail.com. Do the videos. Make a video defying the COVID rules.
And listen, straight up. If you can put it onto Zero News, because I think all your emails there. But honestly, anywhere in the country, if you want some support, I will come up there and support your businesses. I'll support your demonstrations or whatever. I mean, what I say, we've got to fight. We've got to get back onto the streets and make sure every government does it. And I'll be the loudest person there. You should know that by now. But that's what we need. This is
zeronews@gmail.com.
That's the only step next, because if we do that, we get people together under the patriotism and the flag of England. And that's what we're losing. That's what we've lost. So if we can all get together, we all help each other. But ultimately, we have to reclaim the streets. Ultimately. And I know I use a lot of old terminologies for old stuff and that, but it's coming back full circle again. We've got to start going and doing it. Have to. Remember the London's, what was it? The riots every year, they used to go and smash up McDonald's and all that. That was reclaim the streets, wasn't it? They used to the Monopoly March or something like that, where they said it was the lefties, but it was all anti-capitalists and that. And they used to go and smash McDonald's the last weekend of August or whatnot. So that was a bit reclaiming the streets. But we don't endorse violence or anything, but we just need to go there and stand there together and stand strong and let the police know that they can't do what they're doing, that the government know they can't do what they're doing, and ultimately we let Britain know, and all the veterans and all the people who have died for this country, that we do respect them and we're doing all we can for them. And then the children will look up to us and say, you know what, you didn't win, or you won, but you did your bit. It doesn't matter what happened, what the outcome was. You did all you could do. You didn't just sit around taking off furlough payments, just getting fat.
Danny will be there. I'll be there.
We'll be
Righteous,
there.
this is Zero News.
Trust me. Document it.
Righteous, this is zeronews@gmail.com, and we will help if we can. And Danny, I am totally aware we're infringing on your time, so let's call it a day. But
I do need to go.
Thank you for your time again, buddy. And it's good to see you. Especially I haven't had a chance to catch up with you since Tommy. So good to see you again, friend.
Good to see you again. It's good to be back on here, and I've probably just been a nightmare all night because I've been whatever it is. But
awesome,
honestly, people, honestly, just don't accept what they're telling you, man. Don't accept it. This is serious. It's absolute serious. You know, if it wasn't, I wouldn't be saying it. I wouldn't risk everything, because we all know who watches all these type of videos like next 2 or 3 days. But whatever, it is what it is. We're here for everyone else. We're here for the British people. So let's just do it, man.
Remember what Danny said earlier on about how, and Danny's more conservative than me, how a Marxist idea could get in his head. Don't allow them to do your thinking for you, because it can be done without you even knowing. So it's worth remembering.
That was scary when I was doing that. The two things was defund. Yeah, you can defund the police and burn down the system. That's scary. The ideology is just a little slogan. It's just.
Thanks everyone for watching, and I'm sorry we haven't interacted with the comments much today, but it's been into the chat. So, and I knew we were on borrowed time. So anyway, Danny, thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for watching, people. Till next time.
This is Danny Roscoe. I am Storm Fury, or Thomas Fury, or whatever name I choose to make up this week. I don't know. I'd make up whatever name. And I have lost. And I've lost StreamYards. I can't find it. We're on, but I can't find it on my computer. That's okay. I'll just do it from here.
I thought we was talking to ourselves for the last hour and 41 minutes.
That would have been fucking funny. This nearly happened to me, but not quite. Hang on a minute. Oh, okay. Right. Well, that was a bit of a Danny Roscoe, Tom Fury.
Signing out.
Take care, everyone.